What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan with Astro DFS bringing you a brand new video. Today's video going over how to attack a rookie draft, right? So, in my fourth rookie draft so far, kind of seen some things after about the 105. That's where stuff kind of gets different. I think 1 through 5, not in any particular order, but those types of that tier of players is pretty much the same. So I'm gonna go with the 106 and just hope that the computer does what it's supposed to do, um, and it does, right? So that's pretty much what you're gonna get 1 through 5. Maybe JJ McCarthy kind of goes, um, Drake May, but usually that's the order, right? If someone's desperate for a quarterback, then yeah, you might see Odunze go behind them, but that's pretty much the order. So this isn't going over how rosters are built. This is just going off of what to expect out of rookies. So when you're getting this second tier is what I'd say of rookies. You get Drake May, McCarthy, Bowers, Worthy, Thomas, all those guys, Bo Nix, any of these guys in that next tier. You got to go of what's going to return value, in my opinion, after this season. So two guys, Drake May and JJ McCarthy, in my opinion, I don't think either one should start the season. Drake May, I would bench for a season. JJ McCarthy, I could see if Sam Darnold is underperforming with the way that roster's built, putting JJ in. I have no problem with that. If you want to have JJ start, I'm not huge on it, but I would understand, right? Drake May's got a lot of young talent around him, as far as who's going to be, his pass catchers, older tight end, right? Hunter Henry. Stevenson's still kind of younger on the rookie deal. Juju's about it, for the wide receiver of talent. But you got, two rookies, Demario Douglas, those guys, the running back room, very, Antonio Gibson. So there's not a lot. There's not a lot with Drake May, so that's why I'd send him JJ McCarthy. You're going to get value out of him if he plays this season, and if he performs. I'm not the biggest on JJ McCarthy, but that's bias aside, right? Where can JJ McCarthy return? I'd say JJ McCarthy after this season is valued more than Drake May, right? So I'm looking at JJ McCarthy. Brock Bowers, I love the talent of Brock Bowers. He did not land in a great situation. We all know that he didn't land in a great situation in Vegas. There's just, I like Gardner Minshew. I like Aiden O'Connell. But with the talent that's there in Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, they add Michael Gallup. Michael Mayer is still there. The running back room, very odd. Offensive line, I think, is just bad. Bottom 10 offensive line in football. But the Raiders are a team that's grindy. I just don't love the situation. A lot of people don't like the situation for Brock Bowers, so you have to value that in. I kind of see if he's not having a top 12, season, Brock Bowers is still going to be valuable, right? The name. Obviously, Devontae Adams is older. I believe his contract should be ending very soon, within the next 2 years, I believe. They're going to get some cap built up here shortly once the Jimmy G contract's gone. They got quite a bit of dead cap, but still, Michael Mayer was drafted just a year before him, which is concerning. Are you going to get the same value out of Brock Bowers? No, right? So pretty much at this 106, I'm looking at JJ McCarthy. I think out of this tier, JJ McCarthy stands to gain the most out of his value. He could take over Jaden Daniels, right? I think Caleb Williams is quarterback one out of this rookie class. That's not controversy. It's an easy take to say. But then I could see JJ McCarthy overtaking Jaden Daniels for that quarterback two this season. Now, Jaden Daniels has a defensive coach. I think Washington built that roster quite well to compete this season. I don't think it's a very competitive team, like, overall, but I think what they brought into that roster made it better, and that's good. They have pieces around Jaden Daniels to where he should be able to succeed. Obviously, a really good offense coordinator, but I think with Kevin O'Connell's system and JJ McCarthy there, the talent around him, Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson eventually, Aaron Jones. Like, there's talent with Minnesota to where J.J. McCarthy, if he plays well, will rise. I think he's got the biggest one, right? So we're gonna go a little bit. We're obviously gonna go to the second round, right? And this is still kind of how this plays out. Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas, McConkey, yeah, like that's always there as well. Brooks is kind of that oddball of going in the second round, late first round. Some people take Coleman. Some people like Bo Nix. Pearsall from San Fran got picked there, right? These are guys that go in that tier, right? I think Xavier Worthy, as far as opportunity and value, right, being a Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver, we saw the value of Rashee Rice skyrocket as soon as he was able to take that wide receiver one role. Now facing off the field issues, Travis Kelce committed to 2 years essentially. Marquise Brown added to the roster, so Xavier Worthy and Marquise Brown kind of fit that similar wide receiver type, which is concerning in that aspect. But being tied to Kansas City, if he does what Rashee Rice does, skyrockets. Obviously, where Rashee Rice was drafted compared to where Worthy's drafted is a huge difference. Brian Thomas has, I wouldn't say the greatest opportunity in Jacksonville, seeing you have Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, really good running back room as well. Brian Thomas, I think, is a guy that kind of retains his value. I don't think he rises a lot. He would have to just overtake Christian Kirk as a wide receiver one on this team to really gain value. I think he's going to be a solid player throughout the season, but I don't think he's going to be anything crazy. I don't think he's going to be somebody that skyrockets in value unless he is wide receiver one on that team, right? If he's a wide receiver 2 or 3, it's not a bad thing. A rookie wide receiver in, the talent around him, right? Now, I'm not saying Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis are like star-studded talents, right? We saw what the ceiling of Gabe Davis could be, and we kind of got a glimpse of Christian Kirk as a wide receiver one with Trevor Lawrence. It's just very hard, especially with Evan Ingram there too, a very, very highly targeted tight end. So the situation is odd. Lance McConkey is this one is where it gets interesting for me, of a guy that can go up in value. Obviously, the Chargers wide receiver room is very odd. DJ Chark just signed there. Quentin Johnston, right? I think Josh Palmer's the other returner. But yeah, McConkey has the most ability to kind of rise in value with where he's at, right? There's no wide receiver one. The tight end room is bad as well. They're rebuilding the roster, right? They went from a pass heavy offense to now they're going to transition into a run heavy offense. And because of that, that wide receiver one opportunity is open. Now, everyone thinks just because they're going to be a run heavy team, they're not going to have success in the passing game. And I'd tell you to go watch when A.J. Brown was drafted. And I'm not comparing the two wide receivers. I'm just saying the ability and the opportunity of, the clear-cut wide receiver one on that team, what he meant in fantasy. So McConkey, I think, has the most room to kind of grow or skyrocket in value out of these 3 receivers. But you also take the risk of him not succeeding, right? A lot of people like his route running. I agree. His route running is disgusting. Needs a wide receiver one, but a new system, is you can't ever just predict of what's going to happen in a new system. Even if you get a coordinator who did the same thing on another team with a similar roster comes here, it's going to be different in some shape or form, right? So McConkey, I think, has the most upside to kind of go up in value after this season. And that's what Dynasty pretty much is now. This is going into my 3rd year, and all I'm seeing is year-to-year value kind of change between some of these guys. A guy might be worth a 3rd this year. Next year, he's worth a 2nd, and vice versa, 2nd to 3rd. It just depends on situations. A lot of people don't look at talent anymore; they just look at situations. So I think that's kind of what's changing in Dynasty, and McConkey stands the most to gain for that. Brooks in Carolina, I think Carolina smashed the draft as far as fantasy relevant rookies, especially for Dynasty. Brooks and Sanders, those two guys have the opportunity to be there for 4 years and go up in value. Where you have Miles Sanders, Chuba Hubbard. Miles Sanders has not been good in Carolina, and Chuba Hubbard just has not been able to succeed as an NFL running back, in my opinion. And then the tight end room of Tommy Tremble and Thomas, I think is the other one, where Sanders has the opportunity to take over that tight end one spot very easily. Neither one of those guys have done anything fantasy relevant. Keon Coleman, another guy who, if he succeeds in Buffalo, his value can kind of skyrocket. He is a very... You have to know what you're getting out of Keon Coleman as far as the value return, right? He is either going to go down a lot. He's either going to be this year's Quentin Johnston in Dynasty, right? If he has a bad year, his value is going to tank because there's not a lot of people that value him. Hence why he's in the second round. Drafted in the second round. Kind of comparable, dropping behind other receivers like Quentin Johnston did. If Keon Coleman has a successful year, right, we kind of look at Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison, where their value is. It didn't really move. Keon Coleman has the opportunity to rise a lot, being on Buffalo, tied to Josh Allen. That's always what you want out of a rookie wide receiver, especially the opportunity to be the wide receiver one with Diggs and Davis gone. I don't think they have the salary cap to make a move for a rookie wide or a receiver on a rookie contract of T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk. So I think Buffalo is going to roll with Kincaid, Shakir, Coleman, Knox. Those guys are going to be their wide receiver, like Josh Allen's pass catcher. So Coleman has the opportunity to go up a lot in value, but also realize if he does not have a successful year viewed in dynasty eyes, he's going to tank very hard, just like Quentin Johnston did. Bo Nix, if you're looking for that next tier of quarterbacks, right? The 1 through 4 is its own tier, right? And then we go to Bo Nix and Michael Penix. And in value-wise, what I'm looking at is who is going to get me more value out of this season, right? And it's Bo Nix. If you want to go Michael Penix and make a case, you're depending on an injury in Atlanta. That is what you are depending upon. You are depending that Kirk Cousins gets hurt. That is not a gamble I ever want to play. Ever. I don't want to depend on somebody getting hurt. I want to take, chances and go after a San Francisco running back behind CMC, right? Go after a now Eagles running back behind Saquon Barkley, because those guys typically are a workhorse running back, are going to get fatigued, right? They're going to get hurt, not injured, hurt, and they might miss a few games, and you have that opportunity to take that, right? They also have an injury history. I get it. I'm not counting on those guys getting injured, though. I'm counting on them, missing a game or two, right? That's what I'm accounting for. I'm not accounting on them having a major injury that puts them out for weeks. That's not a game I personally ever want to play. So for that aspect, Michael Penix, you're depending on an injury. Bo Nix with that quarterback room of Zach Wilson, Stidham, Ben DiNucci, Bo Nix, with Sean Payton being there and taking him, I get Bo Nix being the starter. I don't know if he is right out of the gate, right? I think their quarterback room is odd, right? Bo Nix, 24, but seeing that you have a new head coach and that's who he goes with in the first round, you kind of get the gist that he wants to build off Bo Nix. You add his wide receiver with him, and we've seen that be successful with some of these quarterbacks getting, talent from their college team, getting a teammate added to them, and them being successful. So Bo Nix, Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton still there, Mims still there, running back room same as last year, tight end room, same as last year. So Bo Nix, we saw Russell Wilson have some good fantasy games last season. Bo Nix is a different style than Russell Wilson, obviously. So I think if you're looking for a 1 year return value, of being worth a first. I'm taking my shot on Bo Nix kind of rising than Penix. The running backs, though, Trey Benson, I think is perfect there. If he would have fell to me, that's who I'm getting. We go to, another tier of wide receivers. Leggett drafted in the first round. Mitchell drafted to the Colts, kind of compete for the wide receiver 2 spot on that team. Jalen Polk here, another guy. Troy Franklin is somebody that I keep eyeing, with opportunity. Him and Mims, I think, are going to compete for that wide receiver 2 spot. Blake Corum, if you're looking for another running back outside of Benson. I know a lot of people like Jalen Wright. I don't have a problem with Jalen Wright either. But I really like Blake Corum. I think he's the most NFL-ready running back. And if he was in a better situation, like if he was on Carolina or if he landed in Arizona, then Blake Corum would probably be the running back 1. But seeing that he went to a workhorse running back backup spot in LA, that hurts it. But I know what I'm getting out of Blake Corum, right? He's going to be the most NFL ready running back in this class. Doesn't mean that he's going to be the highest fantasy point court or rookie running back. Words are hard this season, but I know what I'm getting out of him. So with that, I'm kind of going with taking JJ McCarthy. I have the quarterback, right? If we're just going, needs in every position. I'm taking Leggett here. I'm just going to be honest and take him. Go with Carolina, where that opportunity outside of whatever happens with Adam Thielen's contract, Deontay Johnson's contract. And then I get another Carolina guy. Now, this isn't, all that I love. Obviously, Bucky Irving I love in the 3rd round. Jermaine Burton I like. Rice is there. Some of these guys are here, but Sanders, I like Sanders, right? I think he has the opportunity to be the rookie tight end 1 in this class if he starts. Now, if he's behind Tremble as a tight end 2, obviously it's not going to happen. But with Brock Bowers' situation, I think it's pretty easy to say Brock Bowers tight end 1. Send it behind Zach Ertz. So, granted, this is Dynasty. This isn't a year-to-year, but I'm looking at guys that are going to return the most value for where they're going. So, Sanders kind of goes there for me. I like Johnson in the 4th round going to the Giants. Daniel Bellinger, I don't think is a guy to be concerned about if he's a tight end 1. If Darren Waller does end up retiring. Sinnott, like I said, is going to be behind Zach Ertz. Rookie quarterback as well. Sanders has that opportunity. Bowers, obviously, if Bowers can get on the field, I think Bowers is going to be tight end 1 easy. But Sanders, if he's a starting tight end, I could see that value easily go up. But the running backs, you start to see a lot of running backs in the 3rd round. That's kind of how it goes. Lloyd, Green Bay's running back there. The Jets have 2 rookie running backs, typically getting taken. Shipley, Vidal, all these guys with opportunities, but I'm looking at guys that can return. And from where I'm at, right, there's a couple of names. I think Luke McCaffrey stands out for where this is at right now. I don't know how long I set this on, but that's pretty much going to be it, right? That's the 4th round. We're just going to pause it, kind of look. And the back half is amazing. This is guys that I'm usually picking up after the draft in waivers. All Davis, Thrash, Garendo, like those guys I love to pick up as taxi players. I think the opportunities for him are great. Davis, obviously, him and Frank Gore. If you want to take a shot at either one, I think either one has. Buffalo's running back room is very bad outside of James Cook. So those guys have the opportunity to be running back too. Something happens to James Cook, one of those guys is probably going to get the volume. Granted, not accounting for James Cook being hurt, right? Just accounting for who the running back 2 is going to be. In Buffalo, all in Cincinnati, behind Mike Gesicki, Sample, Hudson, has an opportunity, right? None of those guys stand out as dominant tight ends, so the opportunity is there. Thrash, obviously, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper. Probably not going to see the field as much, but I think he's a good stash player in that Cleveland passing game. Could see him make the 53-man roster and have some opportunities, but he's a taxi squad guy. Grando going to San Fran, best combine player in this year's draft, in my opinion, as far as skilled position players. So he's a guy to take a shot on. Like I said, Christian McCaffrey. I would not expect Christian McCaffrey to play every game this season. So the opportunity is there. Obviously, Mitchell's there. They draft another running back in. Oh, he doesn't go far, but they have it outdated. I don't know. But yeah, the draft, or they get another rookie running back, so they have two. Two rookie wide receivers in Coing and Pierce. Also, they're expecting some changes, right, offensively. A lot of contracts ending, so the opportunity is there for him as well. He's a guy to take a shot on, right? That's all you're looking for in the fourth round, is guys to take shots on. Rice, Walker, Coing, McCaffrey, Washington. These guys are all guys to take shots on. My boy Jalen here, though, another Carolina. It's amazing how much I like the Carolina draft class this season. Brooks, Leggett, Sanders, Jalen Cocker, these guys, I want exposure. The opportunity is there for Carolina, being tied to Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young has a good season this year. I don't think it's breathtaking. I don't think it's elite, but I think he has a good season. So hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Let me know who you guys are targeting. Let me know who, the guy you're getting most in rookie drafts and the guys you're avoiding. So it's a fun rookie draft this season. I think we got a lot of value this season compared to the other twos. So